Well, prepare yourself, guys. This is Chris with T3 Media's fan sharing entertaining news, honest reviews, the latest in movies, trailers, TV, and more by talking through the medias. I know I messed that up, but hey, we got more important things. I'm going to just power through and just gonna keep it on going. Look, everybody's talking about this whole thing with Marvel Studios and Sony doing their split. They didn't hug it out and work it out before D23. Tom Holland made a little announcement. He had acknowledged the fans. Everybody's kind of wondering why we're not talking about this thing, and he said, "I love you guys 3,000," something like that, and then he kept it moving. But obviously they're not allowed to talk about it because, to be honest with you, negotiations are still going forward. Everybody's freaking out, and what I'm hoping is not going to happen, and I want to get your thoughts on this stuff. I want you to really chime in hard on this one and give me your thoughts on it, because I kind of feel like Disney is kind of acting like Movie Pass when they were trying to strong arm. We got all these subscribers, so you got to bend to our will now. And AMC was like, no. So who's the AMC theaters and who's the Movie Pass in this scenario? I mean, who's the Netflix? Who's the Blockbuster in this scenario? Who's going to win this one? I don't know. Let's now. So everybody's got their own conspiracy theories. I got mine. We're all trying to break down the square root of the Spider-Man franchise and how to move forward with this. So I came up with about 10 little things, little tidbits here about the suggestions that I've heard on online. People chiming in to me and their suggestions on what they think. A little bit of what I think should happen if Sony and the MCU do not figure this out. Hey, by the time you see this video, it might have already happened. Disney and Sony might go, hey, we worked it out. We kissed and made up. But let's just say, okay, and I'm hopeful that that's the case. But if it doesn't happen, and until it happens, this is what I feel like the direction that they could go. And a lot of these things are the directions that they should not go at all. So even when they work it out, and I feel like they will, this is a video about if they didn't work it out, these are the directions that they can go, that I'm afraid that they would go into, and they definitely, some of them should not go. Starting with this one, here's something that I heard through a question that came in a Collider mailbag about Tom Holland should quit the MCU. Should quit Sony and sign a new deal with Disney Marvel and become the new Iron Man. How the hell would that even work? How would that even work? The guy and the guys there were being like real generous, saying something like, the fans would forgive it. They would understand. They would see what's going on. No, they would not. There's still, it might be a minority, but there's still a lot of people who hate Tom Holland as Spider-Man or this version of Spider-Man. I don't know why. He's with his age and what he's delivered. He's a great actor, and he's not writing this stuff, so he's only doing the best that he is. Acting isn't into question. He's doing what's being presented to him. So you blame Disney, you blame Sony for that. It just doesn't make sense. The term Baby Iron Man has been going around, Iron Man Jr. People don't like the fact that he's pretty much acting as if he's Iron Man. He's not really in a Spider-Man suit anymore. He's in an Iron Spider suit. And then you're just going to go the whole 9 yards and just totally just go straight for it. And then how would that even work? You can't call him Peter Parker. So you're talking about Tom Holland playing that would be a gimmicky thing. Tom Holland would be cast as a brand new character. And then all of a sudden, Pepper Potts is just supposed to, hey, you know what? You remind me of somebody I know. You're just as smart as he is. You want to be the new Iron Man? Sure. Gee whiz. Thanks, Mrs. Stark. Mrs. Potts Stark. Yeah, appreciate that. Is this your daughter? Hey, great, awesome. Hey, let's take over. I'll be the new Iron Man. I'm heading off to college. Let's start this new adventure together. Hey, forget the fact that Tony was very close to Peter Parker, and that was seen and shown a lot of times in the MCU, that he gave Edith to Peter. And if Pepper were to hand anything off to anybody, it would probably be Peter Parker at this point. Just because that's just the thing that would make sense. It just wouldn't make any sense. Plus, Sony would be like, "What the hell, dude?" I mean, that would just be like a thumb in the eye. And I don't think Disney or Sony are trying to do that. It just wouldn't. It wouldn't. No. If you think the whole uproar about who wore it better, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, and all this stuff, you think that's bad now? Pull something like that and see what kind of uproar you would do. People would reject it hard. You guys were being way too nice. Don't ever bring that up again. Don't do that. That's a very bad idea. I'm scratching it off. That's terrible. Next idea. What was another one? Sony should just reboot, start all over. It's not like it's not the worst idea in the world, but it's also terrible. If this wasn't already Sony's third time rebooting this thing within the last 10 years. I mean, Spider-Man 3 came out in the late 2000s, mid 2000s, 2005, 2006 or something like that. And then we got Amazing Spider-Man 2. And then Captain America Civil War came out 2012 or something like that, 2013. No, man, it's too it would, and then enough time has gone by, yes, but we just like it's not the same situation from Andrew Garfield to this one. It's not the same scenario. And it's not the same scenario from when Tobey Maguire was rebooted and we needed Andrew Garfield. It's not the same situation. This would seem too fresh, too much of a weird thing to do. Plus, Sony's already announced that they've already announced that he is still Spider-Man moving forward. So that's a terrible thing to do. That would be terrible. Talk about jarring. Then, as much love as Tobey Maguire is getting right now, then they would move on to Andrew Garfield. Then they would move on to Tom Holland. I mean, whoever would be cast next would it would be in a bad situation. You can't go backwards after you've already had Spider-Man and Captain America and everybody all together and stuff, and Iron Man's together. It's hard to go back after that. People's got a taste for it. They just they want more. I need more. I need more. That's what people want. They want more. Now then that's going cold turkey. You got them hooked. And now it's like, no more cocaine. No, bad, terrible. Sony should give Marvel Studios 50%. No. At first I was like, yes. Because I thought that Marvel was like, hey, you know what? We're getting 100% of the marketing stuff, the toys and all that stuff that you don't have license to. So give us 50% of the box office. We'll cut you in on some of that. That's not even what they're saying, according to the sources. Marvel's like, for Spider-Man movies, you continue to put up the money. We'll be the kind of showrunners and stuff. You follow our lead. We were taking 5% of that because you put up the money, but you're still giving us 5% of the solo movies. And we get to keep everything for the time that Tom Holland is in our universe and our movies and our Avengers movies, and we don't have to really pay you for that. We keep all of that. You're getting 5% on a movie that you're not putting the money up from. You're not producing. You're not distributing. That 5% is pretty much that service fee from you giving your show notes. You're helping out with the casting, the production of it. Kevin Feige, helping out with the dialogue and stuff, making it flow, making it mix with the MCU and stuff. That's that 5% is service, paid for. That was baked in the deal, and Disney came up with that number. Do they deserve more? Yes, I feel like they do. They've proven that they're valuable. The first time in Sony history that a Spider-Man movie has made over $1 billion. They've proven themselves. 10%, 20%. Need I say 25? 50%? Hell no. And you're not. But we'll split it 50-50 on the production. Yeah, but a Spider-Man movie has never made below $700 million when they've done it 100% by themselves before the MCU thing. So the movie would have to be guaranteed to make like 1.5 billion or close to $2 billion for them to see the kind of money that they're used to making without Marvel. And you're still not gonna let us into that that other stuff, the toys and all that stuff, the cartoons and stuff. No, terrible. Sony should do the Scarlet Spider clone storyline. Horrible suggestion. I don't know who. I forgot where that came from. Hell no. the core comic book fans were already confused with it as it was. If you do it anywhere near what they did with the comic book, you're just going to cause confusions. All of a sudden, that Tom Holland is not Spider-Man, was not the real Spider-Man the whole time. It was a clone. Who cloned him? Where'd you get what happened? Who did this? What happened? Where'd that clone come from then? Who's Ben Riley? All this. I'm not even going to spend that much time on it. It was confusing then. It would be way more confusing now. And then it would just add on to the anger people are feeling about the whole MCU thing. No. Put a teaser of Spider-Man. Now let me talk about a little bit about what Sony could do. This is one of the I think maybe the direction they should go in, maybe they will, and what they should do. These are more better suggestions right here. Some of them. Put a teaser of Spider-Man in Venom 2 at the end. At the end of Venom 2, put a teaser of Spider-Man. Either talking about him, mentioning him, or say, hey, maybe I need to go to New York and see what's going on here because this kid is out of line, and we got to figure out what's going on. Now that Spider-Man has been in the Avengers, is an Avenger, moving forward, if Disney and Sony don't work their deal out, that means we can talk about the stuff that happened in Far From Home, Homecoming. He is an Avenger. As of Far From Home, Spider-Man is an Avenger. They don't have to say it. They don't have to mention it, but he is. They can mention the stuff that happened in the past. But moving forward, you can't, make up some new stuff. Not without the MCU's permission, not without a deal on the table. So what? So that would just, it would just be a hard thing. So this is one I'm going to put a check by because I think it's not the worst idea. People will be like, all right, now it's time. They need to meet because we've already had this Avengers stuff. The only thing that Marvel has, Sony has that's equivalent to it is this successful franchise and this other successful franchise. Put them together. So maybe they don't have to, maybe they shouldn't, but if they want to make an impact, thing that they could do. Ignore the MCU altogether moving forward. Here's the person I feel the worst for. From Iron Man 1, who was that guy? Ralph, the guy who played Ralphie on the Christmas Story, that actor. Tony Stark was able to make one of these in a cave with scraps. He's like, I'm not Tony Stark, man. You spit on me. For one, you need to go gargle. And I hope Tony kills you. So he survived. Spoiler, sorry. So he's still out there. Here's my suggestion. This is my idea. And I said this before all this drama went forward. Mysterio lives. Quentin Beck lives. It doesn't have to be the Jake Gyllenhaal, whoever he was in real life, pretending to be a guy named Quentin Beck from an alternative universe. It was all a lie. It doesn't have to be that character. They don't even have to mention Tony Stark anymore. They could. That's where he worked. It was in the first two movies, so it happened. So they can just mention what happened in the past. Remember me? I was the guy who worked for Tony Stark. So Sony still has the rights to that because they paid for it. So that's still in their universe. The guy who worked for Tony Stark that got yelled at, Ralphie from the Christmas. I'm sorry I'm forgetting his name. Ralphie. He should be the new Quentin Beck. And to mess with Spider-Man's head, whenever he's out and about, his illusion is out there, he could take on the form of Jake Gyllenhaal. That's how you keep Jake Gyllenhaal alive. He's not really alive. He's dead. But you got one other person from that team of maniacs, the Quentin Beck crew, could take the mantle. And now he's in charge now. So when he wants to pretend to be, he's, in real life, he's him. He's who he is. He's Ralphie. But when he's messing with, Spider-Man and wearing the suit, he's taking on the skin of Jake Gyllenhaal. That's how you keep Jake Gyllenhaal working in the MCU because, it's a hologram. Easy. That's how you do it. Keep moving forward with it. That whole thing with revealing the secret and stuff, just focus on that. That was the big thing that happened at the end of Far From Home. Focus on that. Keep it moving. But check by that because I like that. Make Spider-Verse sequel live action. I love this idea. Hey, there you go. It all ties in also with Venom as well. You want to bring them all together. Maybe they're in the same universe. Maybe they're not. If Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse you can use the same cartoon formula and whatnot, but you can make part of it, half of it in animation, and then when they go through their portal, because another portal is open, now they came to the real world. So it can be like 75% animation, and then one part of it, boom, he bumps into Tom Holland. They bump into Tom Hardy. They have a big live action adventure for a little bit of it, maybe 20 or maybe 50% of the movie, and then when they close it out, it goes back into the cartoon world. It would be kind of weird and cheesy, but then you can see like a real live action Tom Holland saying bye to his cartoon version self of a Peter Parker and stuff. People are talking about bringing Tobey Maguire in and all that stuff too. Maybe I'm seeing all these different Spider-Man. Why do they have to? Why they should all look alike? Says who? You don't know how the space-time continuum works. This Peter Parker is Peter Parker, but he looks different. So I mean, just accept it. Why do they all have to be clones? I mean, one little thing on the other Earth, and that's probably why one Peter Parker's hair was blonde and the other one was a brunette. One little thing shifts, and the whole thing gets diluted or something. It's all it takes. That's all it takes. So that's why they all look different, because it's a different Earth. Why should they look the same? Having the same name is still technically, it's kind of weird. I mean, all the events that took place that changed all that, and you had the exact same name, that was weird. But so don't worry about why they don't look alike. So I'm gonna put a check by that, because that's not the worst idea in the world. Maybe not. Bring on the Sinister Six. You gotta probably drive forward on that now. With all these other solo movies being made, you probably have to power forward. Now, this is just only if you want a Sony equivalent of what's going on. See, this was originally the idea with the Amazing Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield was supposed to go through this stuff, but they didn't execute it right. With the foundation that's already been put in place, and with Venom being a success, hopefully with the way these character developments and stuff has been going, you got Michael Keaton and all these great actors, and the blueprints have already been made. So based on where it started, it could end brilliantly. Power forward with the Sinister Six. There's another suggestion. Here's another one. Second one. And I like this one a lot. If they haven't worked out a deal by the time they're in production of Spider-Man 3 and moving forward, just make part 3 however way you want. You don't have to do that much of a gimmicky thing. You don't have to or not. The MCU could have helped with that whole identity being revealed stuff in one of their little adventures and fixed it real quick. And then his secret is still safe by part 3. So, but if a deal's not made by then, you're going to have to deal with it by part 3. So just make part 3. No big event or, no Marvel tie-in. Just don't burn the bridge to the MCU. You can ignore it. Move forward with a good story. Make it epic. Make it great. Use a new villain. Doesn't have to be anything. I think it's too soon for Venom, though. Because Spider-Man 3, it's just, you don't want history to repeat itself. And you're going to have the naysayers, if this deal hasn't been fixed by then, saying you're messing it up like you messed up the last time with Spider-Man 3. So maybe it shouldn't be Venom. It should be somebody else. Maybe pushing forward to that Sinister Six thing, another villain. And don't mention anything with the MCU. Don't mention Happy. Don't mention Nick Fury. Don't mention the Avengers. Just focus on what's going on. And just don't burn the bridge. Just keep the negotiations going. See what happens. Just don't burn the bridge. Because you did it once, you can do it again. And my last suggestion. This is the most important one. So the first couple of ones were the ones that they should not do. And the last couple of ones were like things I'm thinking, yeah, they can do that. Here's what definitely does need to happen, though. Disney needs to check themselves. Because I agree now, this is all their fault. You're probably trying to do that thing where you want a certain thing. You have a number in your head that you're willing to take. So you overreach and ask for the most ridiculous thing in the world. We want to continue using Tom Holland in our movies and keeping 100% of that Avengers money. And then we want to continue co-producing or consulting and helping you with the scripts and all that stuff. But you pay for all of it. You pay for everything on the solo movies. but we also want to get half of that. We're not going to, but what we'll, no, no, we'll put up 50-50. We'll put up 50-50 of the production costs, but you have to pay the distributing. You have to pay, you pay for your half, but we get half from a character that you own the rights to 100% for the movies. And we're not going to give you anything else. We just want more. We're not going to give you anything, but we want more. No, Disney needs to go check themselves. And I'm being nice because I want to say something else instead of check yourself. Sony should say you should something else yourself, because that's ridiculous. Give Sony 50% of the merchandise rights, 25% of the merchandise rights. Something. You're not giving up nothing. No. It just doesn't make any sense. Disney needs to check themselves. Period. Like what? Like what the heck, man? This was you created this deal, and from the get go, you came up with these terms from the get go. And now that you think that you got all the fans on your side, you don't think, dude, the blueprint is still there. We still got the same actor. We still have the same cast. We still got the same director. Moving forward, you just keep going. Just keep crushing it. Be subtle about it. Like I said, the last suggestion, don't burn the bridge. But no, we just keep piling forward. And then maybe we'll talk about 10%, 20%. But why should we give you 50% of something when in the situation where when we're paying 100% of it, we gave you 5% out of something you're not even paying for. Well, do I believe that Disney deserves more? Yes, because that 5%, is probably covering the fee or the cost of all those, Kevin Feige did his consulting thing. He was taking the lead on it, making his suggestions, weaving it into the MCU, making it fit, using their characters that are already popular from the MCU, letting them come into the Sony world and stuff and whatnot, and letting that happen. Because come on, dude. Yeah, you had Sony. You had to pay for it, yes, but they didn't have to do that. So it works both ways. You already know the reason why I feel like Disney's being the jerks in this situation is because you feel like you're in a situation where you're winning on all these other aspects. You just took the top box office spot. The fans are on your side for the most part. But I believe that when the fans really break it down, to quantify this thing, and they get the square root of all that's really going on behind the scenes of how you really are acting, fans won't be on your side forever, man. Because at the end of the day, people just keep saying, make a deal happen. Just make a deal. Do something. And it's not going to be, it's coming out more and more that Sony has been trying. You just been like, no, money, please. Money, please. And then that's going to turn people off. Eventually, the fans will turn on you, especially if Sony crushes it on the third one. If Sony crushes it on the third one, if Spider-Man makes $1 billion again, without the MCU stuff mentioned, without burning bridges, Disney's gonna be like, I think we should have taken the 10%, the 20. Let's ask for 15. Let's see what they say. Okay, all right, ready and assemble. And then Sony's gonna go, no, 7% maybe, 8%. We don't seem to need you anymore. It was good while it lasted, but you were being ridiculous. Disney needs to check themselves, take the deal that Sony, the new suggestion that Sony made. Maybe it was 10%, maybe it was 20%, maybe it was 15%. That is still good. That's some good money, man. I mean, you're gonna get $100 million out of a movie that you didn't pay for. You done doubled that with 10%. You done doubled the money that you were asking for from the beginning. But now that you see potential to get way more, you were already getting all this other money from Avengers and all these other movies. You're getting that money anyway. So why are you being so greedy? You get to use the character in your movies too, and keep all of that money. It's like I feel like Disney thinks that because they're in such a big power position that all these other stuff. Don't you see what we just did to Fox? Do you really want to mess with us today? Come on, Sony, you're smarter than that. No, go check yourself, Disney. That's ridiculous. No. That's my suggestion. That's my breakdown right there. I quantified the whole damn thing. All those stupid suggestions from other avenues, and then some good ones out there. We broke them all down. But I want to know what you guys think, man. I mean, should Sony just suck it up and just go whatever you want, baby? We'll make it rain on you, Kevin. Kevin just be like, Or should Disney go no, humble yourself, dude? What the hell? You what's wrong with you? Why are you doing this? You just putting the fans through all this anxiety. You know these millennials can't handle this. Stop it. Stop it. Put in the box below. Let me know what you guys think. And until next time, guys, hey.